Good morning, Grand Rising. Welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. I'll say it again. Grand Rising, good morning. Welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman. The new format here, a little confused, but that's okay. It's okay to be confused. Every day is an adventure, and when we let go of our fears of adventures, the world becomes a more friendly place. We know that we're guided and we know that we're here together and we are all experiencing what life is offering us. So there's no mysteries that can't be solved. Today's message is about breaking through. And it came from a card first card I pulled this morning, because I never know what exactly is going to come through for me to talk about until the moment. And so it's always amazing for me to watch the whole unfold. And it was a card by my friend Kalia, and this is the card right here. It's called a Soul Inspiration card. There you go. And what it reads is breakthrough, the veil of fear, and light appears. Real simple, really to the point. Break through the veil of fear, and light appears. As I say that now, it's a cloudy, rainy day, so there's not much light out there. And many times when it's rainy days and repeatedly we feel depressed or we feel not lethargic and we don't feel as energetic. So we can understand how the lack of light in our lives affects us. And in the world right now, what we see is a lot of darkness. And yesterday, I was up on Mount Agamenticus here in York, Maine, and I was doing some ceremony, just simple ceremony. I was guided simple ceremony for 11:11. Good morning, Barbara. Good morning, Jane, Milagros, Constance. Bless you all. Nice to have you with me this morning. Yeah, just looking. Yeah, there you go from India. Bless you. And so, the message really, as I went up to the mountain, was just to go and just do a little ceremony for 11:11, which for me is a gateway to a higher dimension of self. And I honor the mountain because it's a very ancestral point in the landscape where the indigenous people would come and hold ceremony and honor their ancestors. So there was a deep connection for me to go there, and I just went with my dog. And what I experienced there was a lot of families. There were a lot of families, and there were a lot of little children. And one of the cute things, there was a porcupine who's not afraid of anybody up there. And the little kids just fell in love with the porcupine, and their parents were, don't get near. So, it was just fun to watch. And then all of a sudden, something changed. The energy changed. And as I looked around, I saw that the children were joyous. The children were filled with light. The children were having fun. They had no experience of anything else in the world, that it was Veterans Day or anything else. They were just there playing in the energy. However, the parents' energies were very shallow. They were closed in. They were not joyous and carefree. They were uh, very stiff, very watchful, very fearful. And as I watched this, I realized that this was the message of the mountain to me. This was the message of the mountain to say, just be still, Charlie, and look. Look around you and look at what the people around you are feeling, what they're going through, and realize that this is a new time that we're beginning. We hear that over and over again, and all of us say, well, when is it going to start? So I'm going to say, it starts now. And in truth, it always starts now. And our now can be now, 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 now. But it really starts, the real now starts when we surrender. When we surrender to the power of something greater than who we are. And so this reminded me so much of my purpose. And so I just offered some ceremony and some prayers for the people on that mountain and the people of the world. And the fact that there is a change coming. And the next card I pulled was from a deck that I haven't used in a long time, Kimberly Maroney's Angel Blessings. And it happened to be Gabriel, the Archangel Gabriel. And I've been working with a deck of cards, the Gabriel message cards, for about 2 months now. They come from Shanta Gabriel. A little small deck of cards. They're really cute. And they have sayings on the back. And I'll pull one right now for you. Just randomly, this is the message. When you connect deeply within to your enlightened state of mind, there is an expanded perception of the world, and any question can be answered. Just simple things to trigger your brain to think differently. And that was the message on the mountain, was look at all of these people, feel what they're feeling. Don't judge them. Just see what's evolving, what's happening. And know that the message of Gabriel is resurrection. I don't know if you can read the word on it, but it's down the bottom there, resurrection. We think of resurrection in a biblical sense. And yes, that's true. But there's also a resurrection that can happen within us. And that's the resurrection I want to talk about today, is that each of us are now being presented with an opportunity to change, to shift, to let go, to become. The message from Gabriel, I won't read the whole thing, but the one that caught my attention the most is to resurrect something is to bring life again to that which appeared dead, or to raise from a belief in death. I love how that was put. To raise from a belief in death. As many of you know, I'm what's called a near-death experiencer. So I know the difference between life and death, and I know that there isn't the death that we've been taught about, that is and the end of all things, that you don't exist anymore, that there's nothing beyond this physical body. And most NDEers will express the same thing in their own unique way. And this is what came to me yesterday on the top of that mountain when I was guided to not, don't worry about the mountain. The mountain's fine. Look at humanity on the mountain. Look at what they're experiencing. Feel their emotions. Feel their questioning of everyday life, the insecurity, the wanting to protect their children, and they don't even know what they want to protect their children from, but and they're protecting themselves. There was a young girl that sat in a sacred ceremony circle where I do drum ceremonies with others. And I offered her a crystal because she was there and I knew she was going to be there exactly at 11:11 in that powerful spot. And the hesitation and the energy that she put off was very protective, and she didn't want anything. And I looked at it and I said, "Wow, I'm here with my dog. I'm not dressed in some weird costume. I'm just offering her a gift." And the fear, I could feel the fear in her. So I placed the crystal in the center of the stone circle, and I said, "This is your gift. If you want it, it's yours. And if not, just leave it." And I walked away because it's not important for me to do that. It was just a guidance that I felt that this woman was going to be in that sacred spot at exactly 11:11, and she was to receive a gift. When I left, I looked at the whole picture of this and realized how many adult people are living in fear. How many of us right here, right now, have fears that continue to arise within us that stop us from living our full life? What did we used to do, enjoy, not as children, but even as adults, that we no longer find joy in because we're worried? We're worried about a virus, or we're worried about somebody shooting us, or some horrible occurrence. I want you to think about that and ask yourself, where am I limiting my existence with that fear? And it can be very small and very simple. It could just be in the grocery store and you see somebody coming without a mask. I want you to think about how small, the smallest fears, not the big ones. The big ones are perfectly explainable. We can understand why we're afraid of loud noises and, sirens going down the street. We're programmed to do that. But I'm talking about the small ones. The small ones where you're in a perfect place of peace and something just happens and all of a sudden you start to feel that fear. We all do it. Myself, I find myself doing it. I also find myself taking a deep breath and realizing that my fear that's arising isn't about what's happening right here in this moment. What's happening in this moment is the trigger. It's the trigger that releases fears that I'm not even aware of, that have been held in my body since birth. And this is part of the problem with the world right now. There is an overabundance of fear. There is an overabundance of feeling powerless. And all of us are being subjected to it. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm not blaming anybody or whatever. I'm just expressing this so that we become aware of what is the energies around us that are happening are really distortions of energies. They're fragments of energies. And those fragments are triggering fragments of our own energy that we've layered down, down, down into the earth. If we are the mountain, the earth of our mountain self. And now, as we look around the world, we see volcanoes happening everywhere. We see earthquakes happening everywhere. Is this Mother Earth releasing her trauma? I think it is. I think that Mother Earth is overwhelmed with all of this and finally letting go. Because the opportunity of the universe is being presented for her to let it go. And if it's happening for Mother Earth, then it's happening for us because we are all part of her. We're not separate from Mother Earth. We don't live without her. She can live without us, but we cannot live without her. This is a deeper connection to something that we've been denied to believe in. We've been told for thousands of years to believe in this, or to believe in that, or to believe this way or that way. And our original indigenous ancestors, they knew that without Mother Earth and their reliance on her and what she brought forth as life upon her surface and the atmosphere around her, that they wouldn't exist. And they honored every part of it. We don't do that anymore. We appreciate it, we think it's nice, but then we pour chemicals in it. We pull it out of the earth and burn it. This has to end, and it is ending. And this is where the fear comes up, because as all of that ends, we are lost. We don't know, well, what will happen? How will we live? How will we do this? Because we've become so dependent on systems that are no longer beneficial. We are deepening into the truth of who we are, and it's scary as hell. Because at some point, we have to accept some accountability. And it's not our fault, but as a species of humanity, we have a role to play. That role to play right now is resurrection. The greatest resurrection we've all heard about is the resurrection of Jesus. But I'm not talking about that kind of a resurrection, although the energy is the same. It's about returning to the source of who we are and what we are in our hearts. To drop out of our heads, it's actually, instead of a resurrection, it would be the opposite. A submersion, if you will. Let's submerge ourselves into our hearts. Each of you, each and every one of you that show up are gifts in this world right now. And I want you to think about what that possibility of your gift, the gift of who you are, actually could be. What is it you are here to do in the midst of this joy of the children and the fear of the adults. Let us become as little children. You could go through the Bible and take out 1,000 or any religious teaching and pick out 1,000 sayings that are appropriate for this time right now. And what I want you to remember that those words were all written thousands of years ago. They didn't have cars. They didn't dig for oil. They didn't have planes flying around spraying stuff in the sky. They didn't have chemicals that they put on their food to grow them. Those are things that have interrupted the process of our natural evolution. And we're the ones who are here to deal with that in whatever small way. There's billions of us. If each one of us did one thing, there would be 8 billion things done. Think about it. Don't go, well, these people don't understand, blah, blah, blah. No, we all understand that if we don't eat and we don't drink, we don't survive. It's that simple. So resurrection is, in what I'm talking about today, a broader view of the world around us and the collective feeling of feeling powerless in this large world of fear. And know and come back to the place within ourselves that tells you that you have a purpose. And that purpose is more than just making the rent payment and putting gas in the car. That purpose comes from your heart, not from your head. It's the head that's confused right now. The heart will only just shut down and protect itself. We need to open our hearts wider and wider. Some of my notes here today that I wrote before coming on, which I always do, and then I post in my blog so you can read them as well, is today let us change ourselves to look for the broader view in our everyday life. What is the broader view? The broader view is like standing on the mountain and then looking at the distant mountains and knowing that all of that space, which is hundreds, if maybe thousands of miles, is visible. Come back into yourself and be the mountain. Be the mountain that has the broader view of life around it. Let us become the mountain that withstands all that is brought to it. The metaphor of the mountain was all of these things, people brought something to the mountain with them. They brought their children, of course, and their families, of course. But they brought things to hike with, they brought things to eat, they brought things, everything in their lives that they felt gave them some sense of joy or comfort. They didn't go there to punish themselves. They went to the mountain to feel released, to feel open, to feel that they were part of something bigger, something vast, something they couldn't reach out and grab and hoard. That's what the mountain represents. It stands tall, overlooking everything below it as a symbol of be like me. Stand up, be seen, be powerful. Because each one of you are a mountain in your own heart. Let us share that intimate elemental relationship with all living beings. Elemental, my dear Watson. Elemental in the sense of the elements, the air, the water, the earth, the fire. Elemental in the sense of the elemental beings who live within all of those frequencies and have a purpose for all of us to show us and to guide us and to assist us when they're called upon, and will gladly work with us if we actually call upon them. Relationship, intimate elemental relationship. Let us remember that resurrection is not a biblical term. I like when this one came true. That only happens to perfect people. I thank my guides for their sense of humor sometimes, or I find it humorous. Resurrection is not just a biblical term. We resurrect ourselves when we're down, when we're in that place of depression, we're in that place of fear. There's no way out except to resurrect ourselves. And that's what's happening. That's what the gateway of 1111 is about, is a point of resurrection. It's reminding you that those pillars, those two number ones, are pillars of a gateway that are inviting us to walk through an experience. On the last, I think it's, well, maybe not the last, it is the natural process of returning to your hearts and sharing your love and light with everyone. And that's the process, to share our love and light with everyone. And somebody just posted something here down below other than hello, worried of being judged, and then change the look for the broader view of our life. Worried. What is worry? Worry is really our inability to trust ourselves. And so, Tara, I honor you for being honest and expressing worried of being judged as one of the problems that we're moving through. And right now we've reached a critical mass of judgment. If you look at the news and people pointing the finger, you got the vaccine, you didn't get the vaccine, and either way, somebody's going to judge you as wrong. Either way, it doesn't matter. If you follow the rules, you'll be judged. And if you don't follow the rules, you'll be judged. So there is no way that we can say, at some point in my day, I will not be judged by somebody. So the question remains for us, do I stay in relationship with that judgment? Do I stay in connection with that field of energy that is judging me? Do I continue to receive that judgment and not build a defense mechanism to repel it, so that I know that in my own heart, I am beautiful, I am worthy, I'm loving, I am kind? because this is how we were born. We weren't born murderers. We weren't born haters. We've been programmed into that. Lifetime after lifetime, and in our present lifetime. And we now have the opportunity, with the grace of the light and the shifting of the energies of the planet and the shifting energies of the universe, to tap into those powerful energies and rise up within us and let go of all of those judgments, and to see that broader view of life. That's the mountain. The broader view of life is being at the top of the mountain. You don't have to be physically there. I mean, the physical is really a metaphor for what we have to be in ourselves. Be the mountain, be that powerful, that strong, sacred space, and honor it and bless it and take care of it. And as we do that, we grow stronger and healthier. And we can have relationships that are more meaningful with each other. We have the ability to reach out to others in a more powerful way and influence others, not because we want something, but we want everybody to have something. We don't need to go to Mars. What is going to Mars going to do for the people who are starving on this planet? Nothing. Heinz, I think it's Heinz ketchup, has now a ketchup that is grown from plants that they have engineered to grow on Mars. What does that do for the person who has nothing to put the ketchup on? I'm not making this up. I can't make this shit up. Can't do it. It's there. What does that tell me? That tells me that we are seriously being called to come back into our hearts, to surrender to that deep inner self that's filled with all kinds of painful experiences, all kinds of traumas, both ours and ancestral. It doesn't matter where they came from, but to open the windows of our heart and allow the winds to come into us, the winds that blow around the mountain, come into us and blow away all of that. Carry it away. Be gentle, be kind to yourself first. It's not being greedy, it's not being selfish. It's honoring who you are as this beautiful being in the process of resurrection. It's a surrendering. It's a surrendering to that sense of helplessness and unworthiness. It's not defeat. It's no longer allowing its energy to distort the beautiful being you truly are in your heart. That's been placed there by people who can't see the love. They can't feel the love. All they want is energy and power, material things. That's coming through the 1111 gateway. 2 pillars. 2 pillars of light and love. One is light, one is love. This is how I see it. I'm walking through that gateway. I'm saying, I'm going to keep going this time. I'm not going to get too far away from those pillars and then feel fearful and go back. Because going back, there's nothing there for us. The only promise of light and love is ahead of us and within us. And they're attracting each other right now. And that attraction, to me, is resurrection. I want you all to resurrect. I want every human being on this planet to resurrect. Who am I to say that? I'm just one of you. I'm no smarter, no dumber, no anything more than you are. I'm just able to see it differently. I'm able to feel it differently because I've released layers and layers and layers of painful experiences. When I look back and I hear so many people talk, why did I have to live through all of this pain? And I laugh because it reminds me of me saying that. Why did I have to go? Why did I have to live through this life of so much trauma and pain and suffering, emotional, physical, etc., to be here now? And that's why I am here now. Because I've been through it. I've been through it. I know what it is. I know what it looks like. I know what it smells like. I know what it feels like. It doesn't make me any better than anybody else. It just makes me all the same as everyone else. We're all feeling this now. And the resurrection is not going to come from outside of ourselves. It's not going to be God resurrecting Jesus. It's going to be each one of us choosing to resurrect because we have that power already within us. And he was the exemplar. We can do this. I know we can do this. We are doing this. And thank you all for showing up today. I'm going to try to touch base with you right here. Change, look at the broader side of view. Yes, look at the broader view of your life, of all of our lives. And connect with that broader view and know that the possibility always exists. The only thing that keeps us from achieving it is the trauma that pops up along the road there. But it's like the thick fog. Just go slow, be gentle, stay in the middle of the road. You'll get through. The sun will rise, the light will shine. Feelings of fear, even worry, are brought about by a lack of faith and trust in the universe, trusting that the universe always works to guide and protect us, always working for our greatest good. Yes, dear heart, we are a part of this universe. We are like the cells in our body are part of us. We are the universe to them. And so, like the universe supporting us, we need to support what lives within us. It's the flow. When we're in the flow, everything is nurtured. What else we got here? I think that's about it, other than some just beautiful people here. And thank you very much for listening. I wasn't going to do this, but I am. If you've got a few minutes, and I'm going to read something that I wrote yesterday, and I'm feeling it's called to be here today, and I wasn't going to. It's something I wrote for the Global Heart team, and because I'm feeling just so wonderful, from being on the mountain and being with you today. This is called Exploring the Multidimensionality of the Personal Heart. And it comes out of a couple of meetings with people based on Global Heart and coming back into our hearts and sharing them with others. So just take a deep breath and you'll be free of my voice very shortly. Let us gently focus on our physical hearts, which is the first organ to function within the tiny embryo of our mother's womb. We are now present in a third dimension, to be nurtured and sustained by Mother Earth, where our journey of life in human form begins. Our hearts record every energetic experience and adapt to the frequencies in order to exist without knowing until the brain is functional. We have never truly left our true source, which is multidimensional and unexplainable, except within languages which are only observations. The multidimensional personal heart is much more. It is the collective presence of all hearts in a unified field. Love is the pure divine energy of creation within the quantum field. It cannot be controlled, misdirected, or destroyed. For it is the source of all existence at all levels of formation, from whence the potential to become and exist is fully activated. Here, this field exists both within and around us. And when we clear away all that is blocking or distorting it, every dimension is available to ourselves and others to co-create in a reciprocal field of love. I leave you with that. You are love. You are light. Let's go forth and let it shine and spread. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. We are unity. One heart, one love. Bless you all and thank you. May your week be filled with amazing gifts. Perhaps there's a crystal waiting on a stone for you at the top of a mountain. I ask you, go look for it. Bless you all. Be here next Friday. Once again, we never know what's going to be talked about. It's all up to the higher parts of ourselves, that multidimensional self, which we are beginning to learn what it really is. Bless you all. Thank you. Have a great week.